In this video, I'm gonna be knitting the Monday sweater. Recently, my mother-in-law is learning to knit and she's decided she wants to try to knit a sweater. So she chose the Monday sweater, which as far as I know is a pretty good beginner level sweater. It's also just a really good staple. It's a plain stockinette pullover sweater and you can't have enough of those. So I decided I want to make one along with her and kind of help her through the process. So let me go ahead and grab the yarn and I'll show you what colors I'm thinking. I want to mention before I show you the colors, this was kind of an impromptu start of a project. I didn't like buy yarn for this by any means. I just used what I have in my stash. I need to use up my yarn anyway. But that being said, I was kind of limited on colors. So I'll show you what I had and what I ended up going with, and then we can move on to the actual sweater. So the Monday sweater pattern that we're working up calls for a 3 lightweight, or I think that's a DK weight. Hank wants to help. And so originally I was going to go with this yarn. This is 100% baby alpaca from Lion Brand. And it's a nice soft yarn. I actually had it casted on for, I think it was called the Marysia cardigan. I'm gonna pop up a picture and the pattern for that sweater, and I still want to make that someday, but I did rip it out. I just felt like I wasn't liking the stitch definition with this yarn, so I need to buy a different yarn for that pattern. Anyway, that's a project for a different day. Hopefully Hank's not too distracting. Anyway, so I decided against this. The only other 3-weight yarn that I had is this Yarntopia. I had this light blue, dusty blue color, a pink, a purple, and then this dark teal. So I thought, okay, I can make these work, but I only have 2 skeins of each color. So I'm going to have to pick and choose some multiple colors to work together. I won't be able to make it a solid color. So ultimately, I think I've decided to go with the dark purple and the teal. I just thought the green and purple were kind of like, I don't know. Does that make sense? I'm not like 100% on my color theory, but I just felt like this would be a good contrast in the right way. I don't know. Anyway, so this is what we're going with. I actually have started the collar ribbing. I would say I'm about almost halfway. I had just barely cast this on with my mother-in-law last night and got going. And I thought I have to make a video on this, of course. So that's where we're at. Like I said, hopefully 4 balls is going to be enough because I have 2 of each color, and actually I have used a little bit of the purple, not a ton. So hopefully we have enough. Each of these has 312 yards in it, and I feel like it's pretty standard for a knit sweater to just plan on using 1,000 to 1,200 yards. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's kind of the rule of thumb. So I should be good because this will give me 1,200 yards, maybe a little less because I have used a little purple. And that is the reason why I started with the teal for the collar, because I thought if I do teal for the ribbing, the purple will only be used like on the sleeves and the body, and I'll end up using more teal than purple. Anyway, I don't think I'll get a ton of knitting done today. I have a few hours before I have some plans this afternoon. So hopefully I can get the collar finished. That's kind of my easy goal for the day. But yeah, I'm ready to jump in and knit myself a basic sweater. Okay, after recording that first clip, I kind of forgot to record anything else. I got caught up with my mother-in-law. We went ahead and did the German short rows, so I have that finished. It's gonna be kind of hard to show you because I'm doing magic loop. But here's kind of what the stripes are looking like, if you can tell. At this point, I'm basically just gonna keep working raglan increases until I get long enough to where I can hook under the arms. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll try to check back in when we're at the underarms. Okay, I have been terrible about updating on my sweater, but I am at the underarms. Let me get a little slack here so I can show you. I am at the underarms and I've done a few rows on just the bodies. My stitches are on hold. I'm gonna try not to pop any stitches, but I thought I would just show where we're at. So this is how far I am. See if I can show you the back. At this point, I just have to knit round and round until it's the right length, and then I'll do a little ribbing, cast it off, and then we'll start on the sleeves. So anyways, this is kind of the boring part, but I will try to update when I remember as I get closer to the bottom. Okay, so far I've knit about 4.5 of my stripes worth under the underarm. So I'm making decent progress. I think I need to knit until the sweater measures from center back to the bottom about like 20 inches, maybe a little more because I'm kind of tall. I've run into a little yarn barf, so I'm gonna have to deal with this. I have been terrible updating on my sweater. I did go ahead and finish and bind off the body of the sweater, and I'm working on the first sleeve. So I thought, now that I have the chance, I need to update just to show a little progress. Okay, so here's what the body looks like. I'm really happy with the fit. I do feel like it's a little looser than I was originally thinking, but I kind of like a relaxed fit sweater, and I feel like that was the intention for this pattern, because if I'm remembering right, I think it said it's meant to have about 9 inches of positive ease. Obviously, you can make whatever size would get it to fit however you wanted it, but that's kind of what I remember the pattern saying. Anyways, I did the Italian bind off on the bottom. Only one complaint was that I feel like my gauge with the yarn I used and the needles I used is very loose. And so I feel like the ribbing doesn't look as tidy and neat as some other sweaters and the ribbings I've done on those other sweaters. But so far that's the only complaint. I honestly think that was a me problem. I either should have used a different yarn or maybe switched the needles and, I don't know, made the gauge a little different. That being said, I would rather have a loose, like, drapier gauge like this than have like a stiff sweater. So I guess this is the better of the two options. Anyways, I'm not super far on the sleeve yet. I would say maybe almost halfway, but that's including all this raglan work I've done. I've really only knit from here on the actual sleeve portion. So yeah, I've got quite a ways to go still, but I thought I should probably check in. This is where we're at. I'm gonna keep chugging along. This video is taking a long time to complete, but I do have an update on my sweater. I have officially finished one sleeve. I really like how it's fitting. It's a lot looser than I was originally thinking, but I think that's good. And it's something a little different from what I already have in my wardrobe. This is what the back looks like. So now I'm gonna go ahead and pick up stitches for the second sleeve and hopefully crank this out so I can finish this project, because I have a lot of fun videos planned for the future. So I wanna get this done so I can move on. Yeah, so let's get going. What are you doing? Okay, this video took a lot longer than I was hoping, but I finally have a finished sweater. So here's the front, and then here is the back. Overall, I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I hope you guys liked this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.